Don't know this guy, but I like some of his thinking. Here goes. Son Fauci.
Also US 4 trillion, but it's like you're investing 4 trillion and then you get a return of income of 7 trillion year over year over year. So over a 10-year period, you're going to make 70 trillion. That's what it's about. So the health policy is being implemented by a guy called Anthony Fauci here, who's essentially big pharma and big vaccine. He's been at it since 1986.
Big pharma, big vaccine. Yep, if they kill us or injure us, we're going to be using more pharmacy.
And no one is able to call him on it because he says he's a virologist and an immunologist. And the problem is that I actually know the science. And what he's doing is he's taking advantage of people's ignorance. Look, it's about time people started voting and fighting for people and defending people and supporting people who actually have to solve problems. You know, if you're
Actually have to solve problems, not just policymakers that are jerking us around.
an engineer, I'm a working class kid. My parents came from India with nothing. I've worked all my life. These politicians don't work. What do they do? What they're doing is they're working their networks. They're all incestuous, right? Whether they're left or right, they're all the same set of people. And they take advantage of working people and our labor. It's no different than taking advantage of slaves. And it's time that the slaves realize that they have choices. And that's what this is about, and that they need to get.
We have become slaves to these people. They're a source of money, a source of power, a source of income, a source of control.
Educated, and they need to, they use fear. After 9/11 occurred in the United States, it was terrorism, 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 terrorism. And they used that to implement a police state of watching everything. And everyone said, okay, it's okay, I have cameras everywhere, right, watching me. So we gave
Yeah.
up our freedom. Now with this, we're going to say, okay, you
We gave up more freedom after 9/11 than we ever should have been. People warned us about that, but nothing, very little was done.
can inject anything into me. So every time we give away this freedom, you can never get it back. And what it does, it helps consolidate power to the Bill Gates, the Hillary Clintons, those kinds of people who think they're actually very smart, they know better, and we're all basically their slaves. That's what's fundamentally taking place. So let's talk about Italy, okay? If
Hmm.
you look at Italy, about 10 years ago, did you hear about the five-star movement in Italy?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
Okay. The five-star movement in Italy was a bottoms-up movement, an independent movement out of both parties, right? Berlusconi and the other party.
Yeah.
And they actually started building a lot of mass bottoms-up movement in Italy. And that was very threatening to the elites. Now, you have to also understand Italy is where the Vatican is, okay? Italy has one of the worst healthcare systems. Friends of mine who are from Italy that I've worked with at MIT, they said you never want to end up in an Italian hospital, okay? They're horrible. They're like state-run hospitals. It's awful. So if you look at the situation in Italy, how many deaths have been there right now?
Around
4,000. How many people have been infected?
40,000.
Right. So that's in that numbers, it's about 10%. And what those 4,000 people died, what is their background? Most of them are old people. Most of them. So as you get older, your immune system gets compromised, whether it's this or any virus. Okay. I think you can look at how many people die of the flu every year globally. Now, they're attributing this to corona. Now, when you get the flu and your immune system's compromised, you're open to many viruses. I don't know if you know that. If you looked at someone who has the flu, they have many different viruses in themselves. If you wanted to solve the problem, you take the people who are older, people who are immunocompromised, fine, protect them. And that should be protected in any case. But then you take the healthy people and let them run the economy, right? And let them start boosting their immune system with vitamin A, vitamin D, and vitamin C, eating proper foods. You don't shut down the entire world. This is unheard of. So the entire concept of this virus kills this person is not true. It's a compromised immune system, meaning that if you don't have the proper infrastructure within your body, your immune system will overreact, okay? And people need to wake up and realize that they need to start using their brains and their common sense, because fear is how fascism comes. So you have fear, fascism, and pharma. That's what we're headed towards. So think about what's going on. People are waking up and they're getting smart. They just need proper education and information. That's what, my mission is. My mission is to educate people, and it's for me, it's very interesting because my whole life has been about health. I grew up in India, in a small village and also in the city, watching my grandmother was a traditional healer. I studied, since when I was 14, I started doing research at a medical school full time, and then I went in and out of MIT understanding systems. And my whole life has been dedicated to health. Separate from that, I've had a deep interest in political systems. So for me, it's very interesting because both are converging at a time when I've been a fighter, on these other areas in politics, but deeply, deeply contributing and interested in the immune system, et cetera. So I think it's all good. It's just people need to realize that they need to understand that their choices, what choices they do, will determine their future. And it's really time for people to get out of their ways, overcome their fear, and start realizing what are they going to put inside themselves and who are they going to vote for and elect.
Well, there you are. It's pretty succinct. The fact is, we do have to use light and knowledge. We do have to use truth. We do have to get away from fear. And we have to know that our power is in following the truth, following real scientific evidence. It's not this crap that we've been shoved down our throats by politicians and by administrators that do not have our best interest at heart. This has to stop. We're at a verge. We've got to say enough is enough. We want the truth. We want the full truth. We want to quit being screwed over by these people that don't care anything about us other than to control us and abuse us. It's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Good point from this guy. That's why he got, 164,000 views on this. Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Know the truth. It shall make you free. And you're going to have to dig to find it because it's being covered up in a lot of cases and abused and used and shredded and selected. And there's a lot more that needs to be done to protect us, to know the truth, to apply the truth, and to live the truth. It's Roger Martin, and I say these things in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.